Well, hello there. My name is John. Thanks for being a part of the Christian Media Marketing Live Show. I'm finding out that a lot of people are watching this after it's recorded. And so if you're logging onto YouTube or watching it on our Kavanaugh Media site later on, we hope that this is a blessing to you just as much as it is to those of you who are online right now, live with us as we do the show. One of the reasons that we do this show live is so that I can answer questions. If people have questions about the content that we are going through, then I'd love to try to answer those for you as we're looking at it. And so that's a big part of why we do this live. And the other reason is that it keeps my feet to the fire, to continually be updating, to try to listen to those of you who are using media to reach out, whether that be a mission team or a church or wherever you find yourself. We want to help you. Now, we're going to look at websites today, and we're going to look at why they are important. But before we get into that bit of training, each week I try to answer some of the questions that I'm getting from people and address those here on this show. So I'd like to look at a few of those here. If you have other questions, make sure and just type them into the comment section of wherever you're watching this. And if we can, we'll try to answer them right here on the show live. Whether we do it right now, we'll do a little bit of training. And then afterwards, if there's any questions, we'll make sure and try to answer those as well. So here's one of the questions that I got asked, and actually it was put on our live training course area, our learning management system on our Kavanaugh Media site. And it was just simply this question: can I get a Facebook pixel if I don't have a website? Well, yeah, you can. So the process of getting a Facebook pixel, if you watch the show just a few weeks ago or you go through some of the different training, you can get the Facebook pixel even if you don't have a website. So that's fine, but remember that your pixel really isn't going to do anything if you don't have it on your website. That's the purpose of it, is to allow you to see once they click on an ad and go to your website, or maybe they're downloading an app. Maybe you're using this marketing for a Bible app that you use or a video app that you use. I know there's several of you who reach out to me who are Bible translators, who are using some marketing to try to let people know about the Bible in their heart language, which I love. I think that's actually one of the most important things we can do. So until you get the pixel installed on your site, well, you're not going to see what's happening there. And so, yes, you can get a pixel even if you don't have a site created, a website yet. And so you can get that one. There's no problem with that whatsoever. So feel free to get started on that. But some of the technical stuff that you're going to have to do and setting up the different events, those kind of things, you really need to get those set up once you have your site created there. All right, next question that I've been asked. If I was just getting started, I'll drag this question right there. If we were just getting started, which should we use first? Facebook or Google? I love this question because this comes back to like iPhone, Android kind of world. So people kind of have a lot of opinions on this. So it is no doubt in people that know me that I am an Apple fanboy. I have used their products. I like the security stuff. It just works, okay? Can you do more with Linux? Yes. If you ask one of my sons, he loves it. And so I hate diving into these things because that's what ends up people going, oh, well, this is better, or you can do this or that, whatever. Yeah. These are tools for you and me to be able to get the message of Jesus out there to as many people as possible. So when it comes to Facebook or Google or Twitter or YouTube or any other channel that allows us to do paid ads. Now, you can do organic stuff, but you need to understand that the reach on that. So if you just have a Facebook page and you don't ever run any ads, Facebook is reporting that the worldwide reach, the amount of people that are actually going to see that's maybe 5 to 7%, somewhere in that range. That's why we use ads, to get the message out there in front of people. So if I was just getting started, and with teams that I've worked with or people that I advise, I usually encourage them to get started with Facebook first. The reason for that is you can get really detailed targeted. you can really pick who your audience is. You can really nail that down to a more granular level than what I think you can do on Google. Now, it's great on Google, but it's a completely different strategy. Let me put it this way. There's a push and a pull when it comes to strategy with media and with marketing. A push strategy is when you're putting something out there in front of people, and a pull strategy is when you're trying to get them to come from, say, search results and come to you, to your website or to your content. Facebook is a push channel. So people go on Facebook looking for pictures of family or whatever else. Maybe it's a group they're in. They're looking for pictures of cats, all right, whatever it is, on Facebook or on Instagram. We're just trying, because of what they have shown through their behavior of what they like or their demographics, to push some content out there in front of them to see if they're interested. A pull strategy is something like Google or even YouTube, where you are getting people who are already searching, and you're trying to get your content in front of them and pull them from that search result to your website. Number one search engine in the world is Google. Number two is YouTube. So we're going to look at that in this live training. We're going to look at Google ads. We're going to look at YouTube ads. We're going to look maybe even at some other channels. We're going to dive into that, and we're going to spend the time to look at those. But the reason I like Facebook so much, if you're just getting started, is that I feel like you can get faster results. Like, you can't control how many people are searching for that term that you're putting out there in your Google ads, or even maybe your YouTube one. You can control YouTube a little bit better for volume, but the search results from Google, they just are what they are. And if, depending on which words you're using, your keywords, if you're trying to compete against these major brands or really general terms that have hundreds of thousands of people searching, you can't afford that probably. So with Facebook, with not a lot of money, you can get your message out there in front of a lot of people who are really, really specific, tied to the kind of audience that you're trying to put maybe your video or whatever content you're trying to put in front of them. So if it's me, if we're just getting started, which should we use first? I tend to recommend that people start with Facebook first, unless there's a reason why that won't work for them. Or maybe that's not their demographic or the audience. Maybe they're a video group. Well, then YouTube would make sense maybe to just start with that. So if you're just getting started and you have to pick one, and I encourage you to do that, okay, pick one and learn it. Spend some time in it. Get your benchmarks. Learn from that process, and then start up maybe Google or YouTube. There's teams that I work with that have been running ads consistently for a year or longer. They're just now getting started doing the pull strategy. Okay, and then it's fun. It's game on, because now one can feed the other. But if you're just getting started, keep it simple. I would recommend Facebook if you're a church or a mission team. I think that that's a pretty safe place to get started. All right. One more question before we dive into today's training specifically. And remember, if you have questions, make sure and just put those in the chat. If you want to, just let us know what things, if there's something else that you're curious about, and we'll try to help answer those. But for this today, this is the last question. What is the most important thing when it comes to media outreach, all right, and marketing? What's the most important thing? Is it your creative piece? Is it the videos that you're using? Is it your copy, your headlines? What's really, really important? I love the question. Let me see if I can at least give you my opinion on that. All right. What I see after doing this tens of thousands of times now, of running ads and from a lot of different accounts, is that it's not so much the content. So that's not to say that your video content or your pictures aren't important. I really value the Christian media creators that are out there. There are some really good friends of mine, some very creative people that are doing amazing things. So I love their content. GMPI, that's helping sponsor this show, would be a good example of that. But what we're doing in these social media channels requires us to have the content and the copy and the headlines, but there's something even more important to it, and that is just consistency. The number one thing that I would say to you is that it's more important for you to consistently be running paid ads than it is for you to be worrying about having the perfect video or the perfect edit. I mean, if you can do that and you have the teams of people to do that, fantastic. But there's a lot of great content. In fact, I'm going to show you some of this on today's show here that's already out there that you can use, that's already been created. And then when it comes to testimony videos or user-generated content, that's great. You can just use your cell phone. I literally have shot ads and used tons of things just using this, just my cell phone. I want to get closer using what I call my foot zoom. All right, I just get closer to the subject so I get decent audio. But don't get caught up thinking, oh, we've got to buy all this equipment and we have to have all of this. There's a lot of great content that's already out there that you can use. But consistency, the algorithms, they reward consistent users. So when you're consistently running ads, you're learning. The more times you press buttons, the better you get at it. The more you're learning back from your audience about what they like or maybe don't like. But you're also doing a consistent ad spend. And the algorithms like that. So this looks different than maybe traditional marketing, where as Easter approaches, maybe if you're at a church, you've ran an ad in the religious section of your local paper as it gets close to Easter. I understand why we do that. I've never understood, though, really why that way of doing it. It makes more sense to continually run ads and be out there in front of people's minds, to be having them aware of your, for lack of a better word, brand, what it is that you're standing for or what you are about. So consistency to me is the most important thing. Now, when it does come to the ad, usually people look at the creative, so that video or picture first, then they look at the headline, then they look at the copy if they're going to decide. So yeah, we want to have great media content, but we really want to align to what the Spirit is doing, listen to people, and then put out content that is going to lift Jesus up. And there's some great content already created out there that you could potentially use. Like I said, I'll show you those later on in today's show. Now, I hope that answers, for those of you who had asked those questions, helps answer your questions for you. Obviously, it's just my opinion, and I used to joke when I was a professor, I hold the right to be wrong, but none of us think that we're wrong. None of us hold on to views that we know are wrong. So if I find something that's different, you're going to hear it from me of I've changed my view or I've changed what I'm doing. I'm constantly trying to think and work and get ahead of some of these things. And so this is just one person's view. This is just my opinion, but I hope that it helps you. I really, really do. All right, so a website. Why even use it? I mean, I've heard this question before from people saying, well, let's just create a private Facebook group and let's just bring people into that. There's some serious flaws with that kind of a strategy. One of them is just simply, if you're working in a mission context, we're trying to reach out into people's relationship networks, their oikos. And for many of you who watch this show, there's major security risk involved where you don't want to just start lumping everybody into a group, a big room or whatever. Okay? And so that's just a risky thing there to do. And so, plus the ability to be able to retarget and do so much more from it. So I really want to encourage you to consider having a website. Next week, we're going to look at components of what makes a good website. We're going to look at speed and how you can determine speed for your website. How fast is it? Things that you're putting on the page, are they slowing it down, speeding it up? And we're really going to kind of do a really deep dive a little bit about how to make your website even better. But this week, I just want to talk about having a website. And you might think, well, everybody's got a website, at least like here in North America, every church does. Yeah, but they're not necessarily very good many times. And we're missing out on it. The pandemic has caused people to use the web so much more, and websites are part of it. So I don't want to rob from the training I'm about to give to you, but this is a video that I shot just a couple weeks ago that is a part of a training course, part of a group that I help coach and work with called Media to Movements. And in that course, you have people trying to help teams leverage media to be able to do that. I specialize in the marketing area, specifically in that coaching group. But this is just a quick training video from that. And so I thought thought I would share that with you all today, and then we can talk a little bit more about that, and I'm going to give you some live website examples after we're done. All right, remember, if you have questions, put them in the comments of whatever channel you're watching right there, and we'll try to address those when we finish with this training video. So here we go, and here is why have a website. Just a little bit of training about the reason of why. If we're going to be doing social media marketing, why do we even need a website? What's the purpose? Why not just put everything on Facebook or everything on YouTube? Well, you can do that, and maybe that is a part of your strategy. But I want you to consider that having a website can really help you in your overall media to movement efforts. The main reason why I tell people to consider having a website is that a website is kind of like your own house. You own it. If you want to change the wall colors, or if you want to knock out a wall, well, you can do that. But if you're using a rental property, you just don't have the ability to do that. The owners don't like it when people start knocking walls out or changing drastic things on that property that they don't own. Social media channels, well, we don't own them. They are not our house. And each one of them have their own terms of service, things that you can do and that you can't do. And these are changing all of the time. And so while it's important for us to know the terms of service, it's really important for us to know what kind of content is going to fit best for each type of social media channel that we're doing. So it's important to stay within the terms of service, and it's important to make sure that our content fits right for the social media channel that we're using. If you're using videos and articles, maybe images with scripture on them and your logo, all of these things do well on certain platforms. For example, the length of the content itself can determine what happens. For a video, if it's a long video, people go to YouTube to watch videos. They're not going to go on Facebook to watch a 20-minute video, maybe not even a 10-minute or 5-minute video. Short videos seem to do well on Facebook, but we can use it as a trailer to drive traffic to the website where the longer video might be. But if it's on YouTube, well, you could put the whole longer video on there. So understanding the social media channels that you're using, it's important to understand what kind of content you want to put on there. People go to Facebook to see updates about their friends or family or maybe groups that they're in. They just don't go on there to watch long-form video usually. So really pay attention to which platforms you're using and put content that fits right on them. Now, the beauty of a website is that you don't have to worry about that. You can put long videos, short videos, you can put articles, you can put pictures. There's tons of different things that you can do on your website, and you're not limited by the terms of service nor by having content that fits right for the channel that you're using. So it's really important to make sure that you're consolidating all of your different types of media onto your website. I like to think of your website in one sense almost like a library, that's the place where all of your content can be found. For example, if you're putting your stuff only on a Facebook page, well, after 2 or 3 months of doing that, the posts that you put, the videos that you put on there organically, those non-paid ads, they're buried down in the feed of the person who might come to your page. But if they come to your website, they can see all of that content. And that's also why it's really important to have a search bar on your website, because there on your website, when people search for a certain subject, it will let you know what people are looking for, which in turn can help you know what kind of content you need to be creating. All of this analytics can be found from your website to let you know how long are people spending time on your site, how long are they watching videos, which articles seem to be the ones that they're most interested in, how many people are clicking the Bible download button. All of this analytics, all of this data can be found when you're using a website and you have certain types of tracking and analytics tools installed. So, for example, Google Analytics and maybe the Facebook Pixel. The Facebook Pixel is just a small little bit of code that lets Facebook know what people are doing on your website. That also can help you know if your ads are working the way that you're hoping for them to do. That's going to be a different video, though, at a different point, explaining the Facebook pixel. So in the end, there's limitations, there's all sorts of stuff that come with social media channels. They're great, they're a part of our media to movement strategy, and we really want you to consider having multiple different channels. Maybe a Facebook page and a YouTube page later on, using Google ads, Facebook ads, but in the end, we believe that having a website will add tremendous value to your outreach efforts. All right, I hope that makes sense. Just a quick video, which is a part of a larger training courses that we're doing. And a lot of this material on Google Analytics and analyzing all of that, we're actually going to look at that next week, how to analyze your own website. But I hope that that makes sense. The terms of service are always changing, and it just seems like each different channel has their own thing that makes sense to them. This is also why it's important that you post the right content to the right channel. It's possible for you to use a service like Agorapulse or Hootsuite or something like that and just create something and put it out there on everything, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. But people know if you're really using that platform just right. So if it's breaking up, or if the words are too long for Twitter or whatever, people know that you're not really on there doing it at that time. So using each of these social media channels in the right way, but then using your website as that library to gather everything together. That's really, really important. So I want to show you some live examples of a couple different sites and different ways to do that. Remember, if you have any questions, please reach out here, give us those comments on the thing. But let's dive into it. I want to look to you to show you here a few different examples. So this is right here a site, and this is a WordPress site that you're seeing. Very large picture at the beginning of this, and blurring the things out. The focus is right there. It is logoed, which is great to have on your website. So this is a very good looking site right here. Now, as you get into it, the only thing I would say on that is I really wish this person in the picture was looking at us. The human eye is extremely powerful for getting people's attention and to watch. But on this site, I know it's in another language, but we have here the home page, who we are, how to contact us, and how to get a Bible. This is an outreach page. What it has on it as well are a couple of testimonies right from the beginning on the site, and then there's just a little bit more information on there that they can click on to continue on. And as you also see that the Facebook Pixel has been installed on the site so that you can chat right there with them. So when you get to the part about the who are we, now this is the part where you can really share your testimony. But here's a key thing. Whether you are a church or you are a mission team or whatever, this is not for you to talk about, we've been around for 50 years, or this is about connecting with your audience. So it's like the idea of a testimony. You start where they are and you share how Christ is making an impact and bringing hope and grace and peace to you. And then I really encourage you using the word we. Let them know that they are not alone. So this is a WordPress site. It is not a hard site. To build, and there's a theme that's being used to build this whole one. Here's another example. This is a video site. I really like it. And on this site, you can click on a video, and then when there's going to give you different examples, when you click on one of them, then the video shows up here. This video is embedded. This is a key thing. You do not want you to store videos on your own website. So you want to use a service like YouTube or Vimeo, Vimeo. I really like that one. So because you do not have the bandwidth to be serving all of these videos. Okay, and so be careful. Site speed is important. You can find something in a cheaper price sometimes, but the site will be really slow. We'll talk more about that. So then even on this site, there's a little bit of devotion that's going on, some issues and questions to think through the material. There's a place where you can download the app right here, and some Bible verses. I really like this site a lot. I like the content a lot as well. Let me give you one more. This is our own site here at Kavanaugh Media, and I just want to let you know about something that we've made available. And if you don't listen to our podcast, and you may have missed this, but we just put up an area that is ad resources. So when you click on that, you're going to see that there are several different types of content, and we're working right now. We have, I think, one or two other ones that we're building out, and it tells you what is the media that you could use. So for example, this one is using Lumo or Jesus Film. And then there's a whole series of videos that are on here. Here's the GMPI Global Gospel one. I'm going to click on that one, and it's going to actually open up a new site. And when you go to their site, you can look at the themes. So let's say you want to do something about love. So these are key longings that people have: empathy marketing, forgiveness, love, acceptance, significance, security. So if you want to do one on love, you could click on that, and then here's all of their videos that are already brought in about love. So when you click on Mary Anoints Jesus' Feet, then here is the video link, and it's in a ton of different languages as well. And then you have some, once again, some questions that they can work through. Here you can download the image if you want to put that on your ad. So that's a great one that GMPI has made available. You also have, here's one if you're working in Arabic and they're working to put this in other languages, share the story. And when you click here, this is a creation to Christ. And so these are the kind of things that you could put on your website. So if you wanted to do one about creation, when you click on it here, it's going to give you an ad idea. So here's a headline, here's a little bit of copy for your ad, here's a still image, or you could use a short portion of the video, kind of like a trailer, and then here's some ideas for even your landing page on your website. So it's very specific to it. Here's the video, here's a little bit of a devotional talking about what the video has there. There is the ability for them to watch other videos. They're already on your site. Why do you want them to wait to get the next one? Because your ad may not reach out to them. You want to talk to people while they're there, while they're searching. So we make it available so that they can watch the very next video or even see all of them. And then we give them options. These, you'll hear me call them calls to action. Would you like somebody to pray with you? Would you like to know more about Jesus? Would you like to read more of this Bible story or get a Bible? And they can click, they can choose, which is helping segment people so that you know what it is that they're looking for. We always try to put the Bible out there because that's part of what we have found that is extremely powerful for finding people. So in these ad resources, we have Easter coming up. So maybe you're looking for some ideas of some different videos, ad ideas, all sorts of different things. So I hope that these could be a benefit for you. And so I hope that you'll look at that. We're going to continue to be putting up new ads from different types of media creators. As I said, there's so many great media creators that are out there. One of the reasons why I like Jesus Film so much, and they have a ton of content outside of even Jesus Film, is that it's in over 1,800 languages. So Lumo is in I don't know exactly how many, maybe 10 different languages, and they're a great organization. I appreciate Tessie and all of them there greatly. GMPI, their global gospel now is, I think, in over 40 languages. But if you can't find it in your language, I bet you the Jesus Film has it already, which is just an amazing resource when you're getting started. All right, so I hope that this will help you. I hope that this gives you some ideas for both your ads and your landing pages. So when a person clicks on the ad and goes to your website, they need to go to a page that's specific about the subject or the video or whatever it is that you're putting into your ad there. But then you also want to make sure that you have the search bar on your website. And then next week, we're going to look at how you can see what people are searching for even on your site. And that's going to give you an idea about what kind of content that you need to be creating or putting into ads. All right. So I hope that this has been a benefit to you today. All right. I hope that this training is something that's helping you move forward. If there are questions you have, please reach out to us. I hope that you will watch our Christian Media Marketing podcast. It comes out a new one every Friday. It's just called Christian Media Marketing, as well as this show every Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. I hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channels. Follow GMPI. They have so much other content that they're putting out there. So follow them, like their YouTube page as well, subscribe to that. And if you can go to our website, you're going to see those ad resources and other information, other training courses. If you're itching to get going and you don't want to wait for each week to come out here, there's some free courses on there that you can sign up for and dive real deep into Google Analytics, Facebook, you name it. All right, so next week, we're going to really start to explore your websites, how to best use them, how to best maybe design them, some really important parts to that, and then we're going to keep moving forward, Lord willing, together. So thanks so much for being a part of the show. Thank you for all of you all for being a part of this show, of what we're doing, of what we're trying to share with people. And I appreciate you all being on this. Adrian, thank you for the comment. I appreciate you, brother. You are an inspiration to me as well. So thanks for watching. I hope this helps you. For the rest of you, if you're watching it live today, thanks for taking some time out to be with us. If you're going to watch it as it's already been recorded, make sure you can always reach out and we'll try to help you in any way we can. Until next time, take care and God bless. Bye-bye for now.